Good afternoon. We're back out at the range. Going to try out another powder today. Going to be shooting Shooter's World precision rifle in 308. This is a substitute for Varget. It's supposed to be a good stable load. Going to be shooting 42.2 grains up to 42.8 grains. Just 4 different loads. Going to be shooting them round robin again from lowest to highest and seeing how they group, and also to get the velocities on each of these loads and see how consistent this powder is on the muzzle velocities. So let's load up and see what she'll do. We'll also be checking for pressure indications as we go. We're starting out here with 42.2, and want to remind everyone to check the powder manufacturer's recommendations as to what their maximum load is, and then back off from that. A full grain, maybe even a grain and a half. Work your way up, because each rifle is going to be different as to how they respond. The ballistics are different. Even 2 identical rifles by the same manufacturer will not shoot the same. They're just not, there's too many variables involved, so you have to work your way up. You can't trust a load that's meant for one rifle in another rifle, so be aware of that and start out low and watch for pressure indications as you're going. Okay, we're starting out with 42.2 grains of Shooter's World precision rifle in 308. We'll be shooting at the upper left target, and I've got a different camera downrange for this one, so hopefully we'll get the entire sequence here. So let's get lined up, get settled in. I believe it's in the right edge of the bullseye. Can't see that clearly since the bullseye is dark blue. It's hard to distinguish the hole, but I believe that's where it is. And the brass looks fine. Don't see any deformation in the brass there. The primer looks good. So I think we're good on pressures. Now let's go with 42.4, and we'll go to the top right bullseye. Y'all didn't remind me to write down my first muzzle velocity. Second one is 25.17. Let me look back here. Round 1 was 24.64. Since there was only one prior shot, didn't have to scroll back through it. Okay, the brass and primer look fine. We'll go on up to 42.6 grains. And we'll go to the bottom left. Okay. These don't seem to be having the same tendencies as the previous one. That piece of brass cannot be used again. I don't know if you can see, but right up here there's a little split. So that one is definitely going to the bin. And just to be sure, intentionally damage it, so I will not try to reuse it. Okay, now we're going to 42.8. No markings on the brass. So if there's any on it when we get through here, we'll know what caused it. So let's go down to the lower right bullseye. Hopefully the target camera is recording this and it'll be superimposed here on the screen. Okay. This brass looks good. There's no markings on the primer or on the brass itself. So I believe we're good on pressures. The neck looks good as well. These are brass has been fired multiple times, so, and that speed was 25/16. Let me go back, and the third one was 24/76. Okay, that's the only one I'd skip. So not a lot of variation in those loads as far as the speed. Hopefully my chronograph is giving us a valid speed. Barrel is warm to the touch, but definitely not hot. So we'll go back to 42.2. Okay, and this will be in the top right. Get settled in here. Wow. If I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing, looks like it almost went in the same hole. That's 42.2. And that was at 2495 feet per second. We'll go up to 42.4. Okay. Going top right. That looked good as well. Looks like one ragged hole. Brass and primer still looking good. No signs of pressure. That was 25/14. Almost identical to the previous one. The spread on this powder doesn't seem to be as great as it was on the tack powder. We'll do some further analysis. We can look at them in more detail. Okay, this will be bottom left. I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing. Another ragged hole. I'm thinking I'm liking this powder, or at least my rifle's liking this powder. And that was 42.6. It seems to be much more consistent in the groupings. This may be a winner as a substitute for Varget, and that speed was identical to the first shot at this load, 24/76. I'm liking this. May be a good alternative. So we'll go to 42.8 grains here. Bottom right, bullseye. What can I say? This powder is looking good. I haven't since I shot the tack in my last video, I have not cleaned the rifle. It's the same day, roughly the same temperature, same wind, same conditions. The only thing I've done is put up a new target and got out the precision rifle. So this is looking good for this powder. We'll see if it continues. I know I'm just taking 3 shots of each. Everybody, you know, say statistically you need to take 5. Well, I'm not a statistician. I go real world. If it's this consistent at all these loads, I don't think a 5th shot's going to make that much a difference. This is looking to be a very good powder for this rifle and this bullet. Again, I'm shooting 175 grain Sierra Match Kings. Okay, and we're going back to the 42.4, which is the lowest load, and we'll be in the top left bullseye. Top left bullseye. Whoa. That's got to be me. I must have pulled that one. I try to give the powder, projectile, and the rifle the benefit of the doubt. When I screw up, I screw up. I'll say it. But I think that was me. Let me get my rest and everything situated, make sure I'm stable. Alright, we're going to go up to the 42.4. Let's see, y'all let me skip my muzzle velocity. That one was 2473, which it's right in the middle of the first 2. Let me see what my one before that was. It was 2527. Was my 4th one of the previous group. So these muzzle velocities are tight, and that's another reason I think that I flinched or pulled that last one. I'll take full blame for that. I think maybe we'll see this one. This is the second one, going top right bullseye. Yeah. I think I anticipated that prior shot. That one was a good one there too. 2508 on the muzzle velocity. The brass is still looking good. No marks on the brass. The primer looks good. The rest of the case looks good. And the grouping looks good, as you can see. Or hopefully you'll be able to see on the insert. You got to realize this is a Savage hog hunter. This is not a precision rifle. But Savage makes good barrels. I've had a couple of Savages and both of them have just been excellent. I had another one that when I worked up a load for it, I could cover up a 3-shot 100-yard group with a dime. And of course that was 7mm Magnum, but still a little bit smaller diameter, but I could cover up a 3-shot group with a dime. And that's a pencil thin hunting barrel. This is a little thicker barrel. It's still not a precision rifle barrel. Nothing custom about it. You can see my other videos where I bedded this barrel into the stock to stiffen it up, and I think that has helped it significantly. And you can see my other reloading videos. where I develop the load, how I prepare my brass. And I'm going to need to do another one because I've changed my process just a little bit, but not significantly, but I need to update that. So let's go ahead and shoot the third shot in this group, 42.6 grains. And this will be in the lower left bullseye. Lower left. I think it went in the edge of the bullseye, which is a little bit left of the first two shots, but still not bad. This powder is consistent. That was 2509. That's 33 feet per second faster than the first two shots at that load. And one thing that I may be skewing the results a little bit, those loads have been sitting in the direct sunlight and heating up. And as they get hotter, their pressures will go up, and it will affect their point of impact. The snipers do that intentionally when they're trying to make long-range shots, whether it be Iraq, Afghanistan, wherever it may be, where it's hot. They will intentionally put the ammo in direct sunlight to heat it up to get a little further effective range out of their rounds. So I unintentionally heated these up a little bit by leaving them in direct sunlight. So that could be affecting that one a little bit. So let's shoot the last one in this group. Bottom right. Hopefully I can do my part on this one. Yeah. I am liking this powder. Brass and primer looks good. No pressure signs. And that was at 2519 feet per second. I can say got some consistent speeds on this. The low was 2464. The high was 2527. Average was 2500. Extreme spread 6330. Standard deviation of 21.67. Not bad, not bad. Okay, let's go collect the target and see what we've got. We've got really all four are good groups, and I would say that this was caused by me, and I probably pulled that little bit as well. That's just phenomenal that that powder is that consistent across that spread of loads. I'm really impressed. I've never seen a powder do that across that wide amount of load. Now we do get it printing in different places depending on the load. Here we're center right, here we're lower right, here we're a little above center right, and here we're below center right. So as far as it's shooting right, that's probably just the scope. I did not zero it for this load, but that's easily fixed. And really, with that range of impacts. Man, if I was to move that thing point of impact a ½ inch to the left, they'd be all in the blue, just eating up the blue. Now this one might be a little bit low, but the other three with a ½ inch left, they'd all be hitting in the blue. So that's impressive for that powder. I gotta say, I've never seen a powder do that before. So we'll do some more analysis back on the bench and wrap this up. Okay, we're back home from the range now. Did a little analysis on the target. For the 42.2 grains at the top left bullseye, we have a group size of 1.13 inch. It's a little over 1 MOA. And like I said before, I believe that shot out there to the right was my fault, because it's just the rest of the shots are grouping so well. I believe I pulled that one. For the 42.4 grains in the top right, we've got a 0.47 inch group. I mean, that's less than 1/2 MOA. And that is a good group for this rifle powder and shooter. And then in the lower left, we've got the 42.6 grains, got a 0.63 inch group. In the lower right, we've got the 42.8 grains with a 0.45 inch group. So we've got an average MOA of less than 1/2, or right around 1/2. And that one in the top left, like I said before, I believe that's my fault. So I'll take the blame for that. But this is Shooter's World Precision Rifle Powder. I was looking for an alternative or substitute for Varget, because Varget's sometimes hard to find or too expensive. And this is a lower cost alternative, and I believe this is a very good alternative, at least for my particular application. Hope you find it the same way for you. But remember, when you're testing out new loads, start with a lower powder charge and work your way up. Look up for your particular rifle and for your bullet what the maximum load size should be, and by all means start 1.5 grains, maybe even 2 grains lower, and work your way up by 0.2 of a grain or thereabout for each load that you want to test. And all along the way, be sure that you're testing, looking at your brass and looking for any signs of overpressure on your brass or on your primer. Be safe out there. Have fun. Please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends and contacts.